lost tonight to Sanford. So Cape Henlopen comes in at number 1, William Penn at 2, Smyrna at 3. Marty, I think those three, and I was talking to Stan Waterman, I think those three, along with Sanford, really are the top 4 teams in the state. If I had to pick a Final Four, it would be Cape, William Penn, Smyrna, and Sanford. Your thoughts?
I agree. They're the. In my book, they also are the top 4 teams. As much as I love my St. E. Vikings, who are currently ranked number 4, I'm not sure they're ready to hold up against the top echelon of teams yet. You know, one team that really stands out to me, and we haven't really seen much of Cape or Smyrna yet, William Penn plays such great defense. They are really going to be a tough out for anyone, and that includes Cape Henlopen or Smyrna they may run into.
Your St. E's team, where you went to school, of course, 9-2. They're at number 4. They have a win over Sally's. It's their only top 10 team they've beat. They've won 4 straight. They take on Howard tonight. Sanford at 5. Sally's at number 6. Caravel here tonight, number 7. Sussex Tech comes in at number 8. Caesar Rodney at 9. And St. George's at number 10. And, of course, if you're just tuning in, St. George's lost to Sanford tonight 61-40 in a game in which Bones Highland was held to just 13 points. That's huge for most players, but not a guy who comes in averaging over 30 points a game. He didn't score his first field goal till the 3:15 mark of the fourth quarter. They might have exposed a weakness of this St. George's
Absolutely.
team.
You and I talked about it. St. George's has to find that secondary scorer to supplement Bones Highland. They just haven't done it yet.
We're going to head to our final break on the pregame show. This is the Fox Sports 1290 Basketball Game of the Week.
At Domino's, we're more than pizza, so mix it up with our specialty chicken, stuffed, cheesy bread, sandwiches, pastas, medium 2-topping pizzas, and more for just $5.99 each, and we'll mix stand-up comedy with a robot.
Stuffed cheesy bread and my act have a lot in common. They're both super cheesy. Tough crowd.
You can also mix it up with Domino's salads, marbled cookie brownie, bread twist, and medium 2-topping pizzas. Order any 2 or more for just $5.99 each. 2-item minimum. Bone-in wings, handmade pan pizza, and red bowl pasta will be extra. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary.
Keep moving with Easy Pass.
Hey, UD fans, tired of waiting in toll cash lines? Well, Easy Pass is the answer. Easy Pass is an electronic toll collection method, making traveling more convenient and quicker as you go through participating toll facilities in the Northeast. Easy Pass helps reduce traffic congestion for everyone. You can get Easy Pass by simply going to easypassde.com.
I'm going to get you with an Arby's keys to the game, if not right away, some point during the first quarter.
Okay. Workers, Local 313, and its signature contractors provide the best trained, most competitive, and safest licensed electricians in the state of Delaware. With the ever-changing complexities of the electrical industry, Local 313 electricians go through a rigorous 5-year training apprenticeship as well as
new this season, not this.
Education
It's not the first game
This is
we've
done
done
to ensure that the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers provide the most qualified electricians possible. Being that our highly skilled electricians are partnered with our signatory contractors, Local 313 electricians will safely get your job done right, on time, and within budget.
High school basketball is on Fox Sports 1290. This is the Delaware High School Basketball Game of the Week.
Welcome back to Caravel Academy. The Bucks are getting ready to tip off against the Glasgow Dragons. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Your starting lineups for Glasgow: Tyon Taylor, Jemai Evans, Mark Bradshaw, Zaire Williams, and Devin McDowell. For Caravel, Trey Alderman, Dwayne Earl, Brandon Sangbachon, Mandel Montgomery, and Okoye Parker. And it's McDowell who outjumps Sangbachon for the ball. Glasgow has it, moving left to right as we see it. A quick jumper falls in and out. McDowell gets it, puts the layup into the hands of number 5. It comes back out, and there is Taylor, puts it up, and no good. Caravel comes away with it, but Glasgow's getting the scrum, and if McDowell has it, he gets it back out to Bradshaw, the floor general of this team. So 3 offensive rebounds already for Glasgow. Evans fires from 3, in and out, and McDowell has it, puts it up with the left. Another missed layup inside by McDowell. Plenty of chances. Caravel escapes without giving up a point.
McDowell is killing Sangbachon down low to begin this game. He's going to have to correct that, but Glasgow comes away with nothing.
And a steal by Taylor, and he lays it in for 2. Glasgow strikes first, 2-0 over the Bucks.
Nice job by Tyon Taylor, and Coach Sheen has said he's one of his best defensive players. Saw it on display right there.
And this started out like the JV game ended with Glasgow getting a lot of steals.
Yes.
There's another one by Evans, and he's fouled from behind by Earl. So quick helter-skelter pace here, Marty, working into the favor of the Glasgow Dragons right now.
Glasgow applying a lot of pressure right over half court, and it seems to have surprised Caravel. A little sloppiness from the Bucks as we start here.
Keister checks in for DJ Earl, who has an early seat here. We're just 1 minute in. Glasgow with a 2-0 lead. They're in their all red uniforms from top to bottom with the gold trim. Caravel all white with the maroon trim. Glasgow moving left to right. We're seated at mid-quarter. Bradshaw launches the three off the back of the rim, heavy, and again it rattles around on the floor, and Glasgow comes away with it, and this time it's Evans who puts up a scooper, and it falls out, and they hit it up to a slashing Bradshaw down the middle. He misses the attempted dunk. Sangbachan comes down with it from Caravel, goes coast to coast, lays it up, partially blocked, and it's McDowell who comes down with it.
Frenetic pace right now. Glasgow very fired up. They're pounding their shots off the board. They got to calm down a little bit here.
Underneath to McDowell, a little jump hook inside is good.
A beauty from McDowell, who's touched the ball about 6 or 7 times on the offensive end so far. He has 3 offensive rebounds. That time a nice little soft turnaround jump shot.
Caravel won the game between the two schools last year by just a point, and I know Coach Jean was looking forward to this game tonight and hoping to avenge that loss. Caravel moving right to left. 2 minutes into this game, they trail 4-0. Okoye Parker has it, and it is tipped away on the attempted pass to the wing, and it's going to hand up in the hands of McDowell. He has trouble getting across half court, but gets it over to Evans on the left wing, being guarded by Keister of Caravel Academy.
Caravel seems a little rattled right now by Glasgow's intensity. It's something Caravel's going to have to settle down and get into their rhythm.
A drive to the basket by Evans, and a scoops up and left is good.
A beautiful shot by Evans using his left hand as he got to the lane. Just a little sort of baby hook shot there, or a layup off the glass. So a nice start for Glasgow, 6-0.
Sangbachan has it right in front of us as 3 spectators walk right past us. He whipped it out to Keister. Keister is the grandson of Donald Keister, the headmaster here at the school. And they're going to call the foul. Looks like it's going to be against Jemai Evans. It will be his first, the team's first. Caravel will inbound the ball straight across from us in front of the Glasgow bench. Keister with the inbounds. He gets it down to Alderman, who's touching the ball for the first time. Parker has it on the right wing. He's being guarded by Williams, goes right around him, launches a shot from the elbow. No good. McDowell comes down with the rebound.
McDowell has been everywhere so far. Coach John told us he's the guy that makes this motor run, and he's done all that tonight.
Williams whips it inside to McDowell, and he can't handle it. Parker comes with it, goes coast to coast, floats one up off the back of the rim. Parker comes down with his own rebound, and they're going to call it jump ball. A nice job by Williams tying him up. It's going to remain Caravel ball.
Parker's such a hustler there. The two Glasgow defenders, when Parker went up for the shot, they both kind of fell asleep, allowed Parker to sneak in for the offensive rebound.
Sangbachan's going to bring it in under his own basket. He lobs it out to Keister. Keister drives right by Evans. Evans scoops it out to Parker. It was scooped out to Parker. Evans and Parker launches a 3, and what do we have here? He made the basket, and they're going to call a technical foul against Okoye Parker. That might have been for taunting.
Yeah, he actually yelled something after he hit that shot. There's been a lot of physicality early on in this game. Okoye Parker, that's his bread and butter. They leave him wide open on the left wing. He knocks it down, and unfortunately, you can't lose your cool. We talked about Glasgow coming out with a bit more intensity. Caravel, it's hurt them a little bit.
Devin McDowell's going to go and shoot the free throw. Nothing but net on the first one. That's what we saw him warming up at about that range, little jump shots, and he made the first one there. So the technical foul on Parker also counts as a personal foul, of course, so he's got one, and the second shot by McDowell is no good. A 7-3 lead here for Glasgow, 4:43 to play in the first quarter, and it will be Glasgow's ball. They will inbound right in front of us. Coming over to inbound is going to be Zaire Williams.
Brandon Sangbachan was just mentioning to the officials that he feels like he's being muscled too much inside by Devin McDowell. So Glasgow's really gotten to Caravel right out of the gate here.
McDowell, the only returning varsity player for Glasgow, and they've asked a lot at him, as Coach Jeremy Jean told me earlier in the week when I was writing a story about the Dragons.
And we should say, Glasgow wasn't able to provide us any film. It's the way they manage it. So we're kind of getting our first look at some of these guys. I'm really impressed with Devin McDowell right out of the gate. Good size, good intensity, a nice touch on his turnaround jump shot.
Williams has it on the right wing, dribbles between his legs, works it around to the other side where Taylor now has it on the left wing. Looks like a zone defense, more like a 3-2 zone defense. It's Sangbachan who's drawn the assignment against McDowell. Out to the left corner for Taylor, back to the top of the key to Evans. Keister doing a nice job on defense against him. Williams drives the lane, puts it up on the right side. It's being tapped around, falls down into Taylor's hand, gets tipped away from him, and then it's Okoye Parker who comes away with it for Caravel, and he drives right to the basket. Good defense there, but looks like they're going to call a foul, and Parker's going to head to the foul line.
Yeah, at the last second, it looked like the Glasgow defense thought Okoye Parker was going to dump it off. They kind of laxed off a little bit, and then when he went up for the shot, they converged on him a little bit too late and picked up the foul.
And so Parker will head to the line to shoot 2. The foul was on McDowell, his first, team's second. Both teams have 2. Parker's rattles around the back of the rim and falls out. So with 4:10 to play, it's going to remain 7-3 Glasgow to play here in the first quarter. Checking in for Caravel is Williams, and he will check in for Mandela Montgomery. I'm not sure Montgomery touched the ball.
No, Montgomery, if you watch Caravel on tape, he's not all that involved in the offense. He does play good defense, and every now and then he'll make a nice pass, pick up a nice assist, but he's more of a cog in the machine than a big-time performer for them.
Second shot is in and good, so halfway through this first quarter, Glasgow has a 7-4 lead. They jumped out to a 6-0 lead right off the bat. Driving to the left side is Evans. Can't get it to go off the glass. Coming down with it is Williams. He gives it to McDowell, who goes up strong with a left hand from the right side. Tips around. I'm not sure how he didn't get fouled.
I'm not either. McDowell got knocked to the floor. There's no foul call. Did a great job with his left hand, and Glasgow is absolutely killing Caravel on the offensive glass so far.
They had the lead 9-4, 3:35 to play. Parker with the ball, trying to be a one-man show here, floats it up, and it gets knocked out, knocked right to Taylor, who's going to go in and lay it up and in.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was for Caravel, but the Cardinals sin. You never want to tap it out to the other team's basket. That's exactly what happened.
And now on the other side, Sengbachan goes up with the right hand, can't get it to go, gets his own rebound, puts it back up, and then it gets swatted away. They're going to call a foul on Glasgow.
Boy, McDowell and Tyon Taylor are doing a really nice job on Sengbachan down low. McDowell gets some help when Sengbachan gets the ball, even though McDowell looks like he has about 4 or 5 inches on Sengbachan. Sengbachan plays a lot taller than his 6'1" listed height.
He plays a lot of sports, too, on the football roster and the soccer roster. First foul shot rattles off the side of the rim and comes out. Checking in for Glasgow is Ikir Grimsley, and he's going to check in for, it looks like, McDowell, I was going to say, who picked up his second foul. Okoye Parker is also going to have a seat. Checking in for him is Jordan Nasudi of Caravel. Sengbachan gets set to take his second of 2 shots. Missed the first. Second shot is up and off the front of the rim. No good. Batted around, and it's going to be Nasudi who comes down with it for Caravel. Alderman's got it, and he looks and he finds Keister underneath, and a little dippity-doo. No good, but is fouled, and that foul is going to be on Grimsley, who had just checked in as well. Keister will go to the foul line to shoot 2.
Trey Alderman remains one of the best in the state at being able to find the open man. Little no-look shot down there to Kevin Keister. Keister's been one of those spark plug type guys for Caravel this year. If you don't pay attention to him, he'll burn you.
And he burned him on that first foul shot, sinking that to pick up his first point of the game and pull Caravel to within 11-5 with 3:05 to play here in the first quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here from Caravel Academy. Second shot is up, and it is good. So Keister perfect from the foul line. Glasgow has it at the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. They have an 11-6 lead. They trailed 6-0. Caravel scored a few buckets. Glasgow then spread it back out to 11-4, and it currently stands, as I said, to 11-6. Williams has it. He's left wide open for a 3 and buries it.
Williams, Sengbachan slacked off him a little bit there. Didn't think he was going to shoot the ball. Stepped up to the three-point line, drains it.
8-point lead, the largest of the night so far for Glasgow. And now on the other end, a 3-point attempt by Alderman, and he gets his own rebound, scoops it up and in from the left side.
Alderman, a great job. It's kind of funny. Glasgow is killing Caravel on the offensive boards, but Caravel's holding their own at their own end of the offensive boards. They average about 12 a game.
Evans, the Chester High transfer, has it at the top of the key. He's being guarded by Nasudi. Gets it over to Williams on the right wing. Back to the top of the key to Evans. Evans drives right by Nasudi, pulls up at the foul line, rattles around, no good. Rebound by Williams of Caravel.
You can tell with McDowell out of the game, they lose a lot in the rebounding presence.
Alderman again drives to the hoop, loses control of it. Refs confer, and it's going to stay Caravel ball. Lucky break there for the Bucks.
Very lucky break there for the Bucks. They don't want to fall any further behind. As you said, Caravel is a very strong offensive team, but they do give up a lot of points.
And underneath, it goes on the inbounds to Nasudi, and a rare score, averages just 5 points a game, picks up his first 2 of the game. It's 14-10, 1:50 to play. Glasgow with the lead.
Grimsley, the senior, fell asleep on that one. Nasudi able to slip down, take the pass, and lay it in.
And so with 1:42 to play, Glasgow's got the ball. They're working it around the perimeter. Williams has it in the quarter. Pump fake, gets it back out to the top to Bradshaw. He works it over to Evans right in front of us on the right wing. Caravel in a 2-3 zone with McDowell out. There's a lot less height in the middle with the potential to score. Three-pointer off the back of the rim. No good by Bradshaw, and Keister comes down with it for Caravel. He whips it ahead to Alderman. Alderman drives into the lane, gets it to Nasuti. Nasuti goes in strong, blocked away by Grimsley, and on the other end, it's Bradshaw with a left-handed attempt at a dunk. No good. Ball goes off the back of the rim, up, and touches the cable. So it's going to be Caravel ball as Parker checks back in along with Tobanya. And having a seat is going to be Alderman and Sengbachan. 14-10. Caravel is pulled within 4. They've got the ball with a minute to play.
And you'd love to have that one back. Bradshaw, every bit of that was beautiful, right up to the part where he missed the dunk.
And a backdoor, a perfect pass, and Keister lays it in. Tobanya found him on the back door.
Tobanya, all of a sudden, Caravel has kind of gotten into their smooth sets here. They're starting to find the open man. The intensity is worn off a little bit for Glasgow. Caravel taking advantage.
And so Keister, who averages just 5 points a game, has 4 already coming off the bench as Glasgow has it. 38 seconds to play, moving left to right. Evans launches a 3, and coming down with the rebound is Nasuti. He's done a great job coming off the bench. 30 seconds to play. Parker tries to get it inside to Williams, gets tipped, the refs confer, and it's going to stay Caravel ball with 26 seconds left to play.
And John, Coach John has told us how important Devin McDowell is. Since he left this game, Caravel has really taken over. They've asserted himself on the boards at both ends of the floor. Not sure how much longer they can leave McDowell out.
He's got the 2 fouls. Nasuti with the inbounds to Williams, lays it in, but they're going to call a foul on Grimsley, and so Caravel will go to the foul line and shoot 2 and try to tie this game up.
And that's a foul you don't necessarily mind Grimsley making there. You don't want to give up the easy 2-point shot. Rather send Caravel to the line where they're about a 62% free throw shooting team.
Grimsley's first foul, the 5th on the team, and the foul shot is no good off the back of the rim. And so their lead remains in Glasgow's favor, 14-12, 24.6 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan as Williams is set to take his second foul shot. It up and nothing but net. So Caravel has pulled to within 1. They're going to.
Yeah, they must have called a violation on the first one. Okay. Yeah, they're awarding a third shot. I can only assume there was a violation on the first.
And he didn't take advantage of it as he missed the second off the front of the rebound, and Glasgow comes down with it, and they'll head the other direction looking to take a last shot as Coach John is pointing out the number 2 play with 12 seconds to play and his team up by a point. Bradshaw drives in, kicks it to the corner. Evans puts up a 3. It's short, but Bradshaw has the rebound, puts it up, and coming down with it is Grimsley, and he fell to the floor, and so that's going to be a travel. He also looks like he might have injured his ankle.
Yeah, Grimsley there. It's in no man's land. He fell to the floor and tried to throw up the shot, but not before he scooted a bit there. And as you said, he was holding his ankle. It looks like a great deal of pain.
And
here.
That's big for a couple of reasons. Grimsley's the backup center.
Yes.
McDowell's got 2 fouls, so it'll be interesting to see as Jeremy Jean is out along with the trainer. It looks like it's Caravel Academy's trainer. It looked like it might be is either his knee or his ankle.
And there doesn't appear to be a ton of height on this Glasgow team. So with McDowell with the 2 fouls and Grimsley in obvious pain here, it doesn't bode well for the inside game for Glasgow as we go forward.
Marty, we came right to the start of the tip-off. I didn't get a chance to ask you your keys to the game presented by Arby's. We've got the meats, and if I'd asked you about 2 minutes in, you would have been wondering what Caravel's going to have to do to stay in this game. But trailing by just 1 point now with 2 seconds to go. Going forward, it's almost back to an even game here. What are your Arby's keys to the game?
If I'm Caravel, they just need to play their game. I think person for person, they've got the more talented team. They have the more experienced team. They're much more used to playing with each other. The team chemistry is there. If you're Glasgow, it looks like it rests on Devin McDowell. How he goes is how this team goes. And so far tonight, he's got the early 2 fouls as we near the end of the first quarter. I'm sure they're going to bring him back in now, it looks like. But for Glasgow, they've got to keep up the offensive pressure. As we said, Caravel gives up a lot of points, but they also score a lot of points. It's not so much defense Glasgow has to worry about. They have to maintain scoring output, keep up with Caravel, get this close in the fourth quarter.
So Zakir Grimsley is limping off he's not even limping really. He's not even putting any pressure on his leg. And that might be because they've told him not to, not because he not necessarily can, but he's going to head over there and have a seat. So coming back in, as you mentioned, is McDowell.
Actually, they changed their mind. They sat him down,
which I think is the right move.
With 2 seconds, I agree.
Jordan Nasudi is going to try to throw it the length of the court. Actually, he's going to get to Parker at midcourt. Parker turns and fires and off the back of the rim and falls out. But a close one. It's as close as you can be without making it. So that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter here. Your score, Glasgow 14, Caravel 13. You're watching it on live on the 302 Sports live stream and listening to it here on Fox Sports 1290. We'll be right back with the second quarter.
Hi, this is Tom Williams from Anchor Buick.
John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Caravel Academy is the location, and the score right now is the Glasgow Dragons over the host Bucks, 14-13. As we start the second quarter here, Glasgow had the ball. They inbounds it right in front of us. Evans drives over to the right, gets forced back out by Parker, and they're going to start it up here as Bradshaw is going to reset things. He's a transfer from Archbishop Carroll, one of 4 transfers for the Glasgow Dragons. On the floor with him to start this second quarter is Williams and Evans and Taylor, and it's a turnover, and Okoye Parker comes away with it. He tries to get it over to Alderman. It gets tipped by a Dragon, but Alderman is able to maintain possession, and he's going to try to set things up at the top of the key. And instead he's going to fire from 3 off the back of the rim, and a fight for the rebound, and coming down with it is Evans. And I was going to say, I'm not sure how they couldn't call a foul, and they did against Jeb Williams. It's going to be his first and the team's third.
And you know, the interesting thing about Jeb Williams is Mark Tobin has assigned him to Devin McDowell. He is all over McDowell in the middle of this 2-3 defense right now. So the 6'8 sophomore is given responsibility to stop the Glasgow's top performer, Devin McDowell.
Well, and probably Tobin reminded him, hey, you've got 5 fouls.
Yes.
Let's not give up any shots inside. Bradshaw drives in, and speaking of giving up shots, the shot is good underneath, and he is fouled. And so he will head to the foul line, and that foul was on Jeb Williams. That will be his second, and Bradshaw scores his first 2 of the game, and he's going to try to make the old-fashioned 3.
And Bradshaw's got a really quick first step. That's the second time we've seen him do that little dipsy-do under-you move that he has going there.
Averages 17 points, foul shots no good, and I heard a whistle before it was out of bounds, but they are going to call a foul, and they're going to call a push on Zaire Williams. That's going to be his first and the team's 6th. So the one thing Glasgow has not done well is utilize its 7 fouls, as they're going to have they're going to put Caravel in the bonus with their next foul. Caravel with the ball moving right to left, trailing 16-13, 1 minute in to this quarter, and it's a right elbow jump shot by Nasudi. Follows his own shot, but it's Bradshaw who comes away with it for Glasgow. Drives the length of the floor, scoops it in with his left hand. It's good.
Bradshaw is so quick. He's a physical player. He's bodying up as he's going for these shots, doing a really nice job controlling his body in the air.
So after being shut out in the first quarter, he's got all 4 of the second quarter points for the Dragons, and a drive by Alderman is thwarted by Glasgow. And who would you think? Bradshaw going coast to coast. Scoops it up with his right hand. Evans comes down with the rebound, and this time it's Earl who controls it for Caravel.
That time Bradshaw a little bit too strong. It looks like he's more comfortable going up with his left than his right. A little too hard off the glass with his right hand.
Alderman has it. He gets it to Earl over in the right corner. Earl pulls up at the right elbow, hard off the back of the rim. Evans comes down with it for Glasgow, leading 18-13, just under 6 to play. Williams has it, puts up a floater, and it gets tipped around, and Caravel is going to come down with it. A double team there, and Alderman Alderman goes right between it, and he's driving coast to coast. It gets tipped out of his hand from behind. Taylor of Glasgow gets it. He puts it ahead to Williams, and Williams kicks it out of bounds.
Boy, I hope these guys were well rested before this game tonight, because the pace has been absolutely frenetic here in the second quarter as both teams are flying up and down. They're taking out number 21 is Glasgow. That's Jordan.
Shot is up and good. Checking in for Caravel is going to be Williams, and he's going to check in for Sengbachan. Sengbachan just picked up his second foul.
Jeb Williams is a kid who looks like he has a lot of potential. Again, he's only a sophomore. He's got great size at 6'8". He needs to put on some weight, which I'm sure Coach Tobin will have him do over the course of the next 2 years, but a lot of potential for this team.
Alderman hands it to Parker, who then hands it to Keister coming the other way. Keister almost traveled with it, managed to get control of it. Parker has it in NBA range beyond the three. Dribbles between his leg, goes into the left, gets a defender up in the air. Williams does a nice job actually regaining his composure and keeping Parker from scoring. Earl's got it right in front of us. Parker was in the low block looking for the ball. Earl trying to get around Evans. Evans doing a nice job checking him. And then Alderman now has it as a whole group of fans decided to enter the gym. And Alderman drives in, scoops it up. It's no good. but there's going to be a foul on Glasgow's Taylor. That will be his first, and I believe it's going to be a shooting foul. It is. Alderman will head to the line and shoot 2.
And to your point, John, Zaire Williams has done a fantastic job on Okoye Parker. A couple times Parker has tried to drive. Zaire Williams backtracks and then is able to set his feet and cut Parker off. Really nice job of body control.
Foul shot is up and good by Alderman to tie this game up at 23 with 2:13 to play. Checking in for Caravel is Nasudi, and he's going to give DJ Earl a break. McDowell comes back in for Glasgow with the 2 fouls, and he's going to check Nichols, who will have a seat for Glasgow.
That's going to be interesting. It looks to me like by putting McDowell back in the game, Coach John has decided that these last 2 minutes are pretty vital to this team's performance the rest of the way. You want to get something going. Caravel now has their first lead in a bit. So it'd be very important. They've got to involve McDowell in the offense, but he's got to be careful not to pick up that 3rd foul.
Glasgow had as many as an 8-point lead. Now trail by a point with under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. A jumper by Evans from 3 off the front of the rim. Coming down with it is Taylor. He looked like he was going to go right back. Instead, he kicks it back out. It ends up in the hands of Evans. And this time, nothing but the bottom of the net as he's got his 8th point of the night, the Chester High transfer.
The offensive rebounds again coming back to haunt Caravel. Evans draining that. We've heard from Coach John that's something he does regularly.
And Keister has it on the right wing, fakes the shot. Evans doesn't go for it. Instead, they kick it back out to Alderman. Alderman drives right down the lane, scoops it up with his left hand, and it ends up in the hands of McDowell. He'll give it to Evans. And with 1:22 to play, Glasgow has a 2-point lead. Bradshaw, the lefty, fires from 3 on the left side, and it's good.
Bradshaw, whenever they let him get that left-handed shot off, he's been deadly, whether it's been in the lane or from outside. They've got to cut him off, force him to his right.
Averages 17 points a game. He's got 9, so almost halfway there. Keister 3 on the other end, nothing but net.
Keister's one of the more dangerous unknown kids on this Caravel team. You can't leave him wide open. We've seen time and time again he can throw that down if nobody gets out on him.
Glasgow a 2-point lead, 29-27. Evans has it, 48 seconds left to play. Taylor fires from 3 off the back of the rim. Alderman comes down with it. He's streaking up the center of the court. 2-on-2, goes right by his man and puts it in.
Wow, Alderman with a great body control as he goes up, able to shift his weight in midair.
Evans drives the lane, a reverse layup, ends up in the hands of Williams. So with 28 seconds left to play, we are deadlocked at 29. And it looks like Mark Tobin wants to take the last shot here. He's got the ball in the hands of his leading scorer, Parker, who drives right down the lane and in.
And John, you saw the effect of McDowell's 2 fouls there as Devin McDowell simply moved out of the way as Parker made his way down the lane. He did not want to pick up that 3rd foul.
8 seconds left to play here, 6. And a 3-pointer there by Bradshaw rattles in and out, and Williams comes down with a rebound for Caravel, and that is going to bring us to the half. Despite a launch 3-pointer that was no good. Who threw that up there? Was that Alderman?
I believe it was Trey Alderman. Did that shot go in?
No, it went in.
Okay.
Yes, it went in, but it was no good.
After. Okay,
yeah,
that's
it went
what I
in,
thought.
but was no good. So the teams will head to the locker room, and Caravel Academy, after falling behind 8-0 to start the game, has come back for a 31-29 halftime lead. We're going to send it back to the studio for the halftime report presented by IBEW Local 313. Ronnie Vickers will have updates for you around the sports world here in Delaware and beyond. Once again, your halftime score, Caravel Academy 31, the Glasgow Dragons 29. This is the high school basketball game of the week on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Unique Image, open for business in Wilmington, Delaware.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson and began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
I'm trying to think. There was somebody they play, I think, that we have access to.
Oh, yeah. Well, William Penn.
Yes.
And Sally's.
Yeah.
They would play.
There you go.
Welcome back to Caravel Academy. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Thanks to Ronnie Vickers back in the studio for that halftime report. Caravel leads Glasgow 31-29 here at the half. That's after falling behind 6-0 early in the game. Glasgow led by as many as 8 in the first quarter. Caravel kept clawing and clawing back. Foul trouble for Devin McDowell, who picked up his second early on after scoring 5 early points. Really worked to Caravel's advantage, and Okoye Parker got hot in the second quarter, scoring 5 of his 9 points. It's time for the first half stats now. For the Caravel Academy Bucks, they were led by Okoye Parker with his 9 points. That's half of his 18-point season average. Trey Alderman had 8, scoring 6 in the second quarter. Kevin Keister off the bench with 7. And then 2 points apiece for DJ Earl, Brendan Sangbachan, and Jordan Nasuti. Jeb Williams was 1 of 2 for the free throw line to round out the scoring for Caravel. For Glasgow, they were led by Mark Bradshaw. No surprise there. He had 9 points, all of them in the second quarter. That might be the surprise that he didn't score in the first quarter. He leads the team with 17 points a game on the season. Jemai Evans had 8. 5 for Devin McDowell before he headed to the bench for much of the second quarter in foul trouble. 4 for Tyon Taylor and 3 for Zaire Williams. And Marty, what started out as a clear advantage for Glasgow was quickly caught up by Caravel as we got through the first quarter.
Yeah,
and then
Caravel kind of weathered the early storm from Glasgow. Glasgow had the intensity coming out, but then you saw the stars for Glasgow. One of them, Okoye Parker, right in front of us, started to take over a little bit in that second quarter. You know, one of the big things as we start the third quarter, Devin McDowell with those 2 fouls, it certainly affected his defensive play in that second quarter, John.
And he is going to start with, with Glasgow along with Taylor. We'll give you the rest of the crew. As Segmachon misses a wide open layup on the right side, but manages to come down with his own rebound, and he whips it back out to Alderman. He gets it over to the right to Montgomery. A near steal there, but Earl manages to hang on to it. He fires from 3, and it's good.
DJ Earl, that was a really nice job of keeping his feet still behind the three-point line. He wanted to pass that off, but when no one was open and he was left open, he took it, knocked it down.
5 points for Earl, and he now has Caravel their largest lead of the game, 34-29. They trailed most of the first half, led by just 2 at the halftime. Glasgow working the ball around on the perimeter. Taylor is in the game along with Evans and Williams. Bradshaw on the right wing right now, and McDowell. Jumper from the free throw lines by Evans, and Segmachon comes down with the rebound for Caravel.
Caravel, nice job there. They're staying with that 2-3 zone that they played for the majority of the first half. It's worked really well. Forced Glasgow into a lot of uncomfortable shots from outside.
DJ Earl has it. He works around, gets the ball back in the low block. Defended there by McDowell. Gets it back out to Alderman. Fires from 3 off the back of the rim. Trying to chase it down is Montgomery. The 2-star sports star plays both ways on the Caravel football team, but he can't get it. It's going to be Glasgow ball.
Montgomery just not able to track that down. And you know, it's been a frustrating game for Brandon Sangbachan, one of the guys. I said he's one of the key for this Caravel team throughout the season. He's been held in check all night tonight. You kind of feel like he may be a key.
Alderman fires from 3, comes out into the hands of, it was Bradshaw firing. Alderman got it, the rebound. He gets it to Earl in the left corner, who drains a 3.
Alderman, a fantastic job of dribble drive penetration and kicking out for the to Earl for the 3-pointer.
37-29, Caravel with the lead. McDowell has it. A nice spin move inside, misses the left-handed layup, fights for the rebound, gets tipped around. There's a scrum on the floor. Coming away with it is Alderman for Caravel. He gets it to Earl, and then they hit a driving. Okoye Parker, left hand is good, and Jeremy John has no other choice but to call a full timeout here early in the second quarter with his team now trailing by 10.
Caravel never looks like a true running team, but when they get out in transition, there is such great chemistry among those 5 out on the floor at any given time. That time, Sangbachan, a kid who does a lot of the dirty work in between, or inside the lane, coming up with a beautiful pass there leading to the layup. And you're right, Glasgow had no choice before they get run out of the building here, needing to call timeout.
So 2 minutes into this third quarter, Glasgow has yet to score. Caravel has a 39-29 lead. It's the largest lead for either team with that 10 points. If you love sports and you're looking for a way to give back to the community, why not give Special Olympics a try? The organization is always looking for experienced players and coaches to help coach their teams. For more information, visit SODE.org. So Glasgow will come out of the timeout. They will inbound and have to go the length of the floor. They're going right to left in front of us. We are sitting at midcourt across from the team benches here at Caravel Academy, one of the best seats we'll have all season long. Glasgow in their red jerseys and red shorts, the gold trim. Caravel, the all-white from top to bottom, and the maroon numbers. Evans has it, the Chester High graduate, the transfer, I should say, one of 4 transfers. McDowell fires from 3, right corner, and drills it.
McDowell, just no one came out on him. He just decided to let that fly again. He's one of those kids who does a little bit of everything. That's a huge shot for Glasgow right when they needed it.
Not sure what that's what Coach John drew up,
no.
But he'll take it. And we're going to have a block on the other end. Mark Bradshaw is going to pick up his first and the first of the second half for either team. Caravel will inbound right in front of us.
Mark Bradshaw a little bit too handsy there with DJ Earl. Used the body a little bit too much. Going to get called for that every time.
Alderman tosses it into the backcourt to Okoye Parker, who's being guarded by Williams. He drives in and dishes it off to Montgomery, who lays it in from the left side. I should say lays it up. Doesn't go in. The foul's going to be on McDowell. That'll be his third.
You know, one of the things I love watching, you're right, that's a huge foul. And we're going to see McDowell probably come out of the game fairly soon. The coaches are just now finding it's out on McDowell now. But, yeah, Caravel has done a really nice job. They were on their other recipient. They were on the other end of the intense storm at the beginning of the game. They're really bringing it out here in the second half of the game, trying to assert themselves.
Sakir Grimsley, if you're just tuning in, the backup center for McDowell got hurt. He's over with his ankle taped in ice, so he is probably out for the game as Montgomery's second foul shot goes in. Extends the lead to 41-32 Caravel, 5:18 to play here in the third quarter. I think Coach John figures he's got to have
McDowell get away from them. Exactly. He's got no choice. He doesn't want to have the game get away early in the third quarter.
McDowell has it at the top of the key, being guarded by Montgomery. Glasgow does a nice job moving around, gets it into the quarter to Evans. He pump fakes and then travels with it. Going to be a turnover to Caravel. Checking in for Glasgow is going to be Nichols, and he's going to spell Tyon Taylor. So the sophomore guard, Dave Nichols, another one of the 4 transfers. He comes from Howard High. He's in for Glasgow now.
And we talked about it earlier in the second half, or in the second quarter. It's going to be interesting to see if Tobin goes after Devin McDowell.
And Earl has it. He pulls up for a jumper at the right elbow. Coming down with a rebound is Evans, and he's going to try to go the length of the floor. Gets across half court, decides to pull it out, and instead gets it over to the right wing. A nice fake there by Bradshaw. He drives to the basket, kicks it back out to Williams. Can't make the 15-footer from the left, and instead gives it to the baseline where Nichols has it, but ends up turning it over after driving along the baseline.
Caravel really does get handsy on defense. They do a really nice job getting into the lanes.
Okoye Parker, speaking of getting in the lanes, with a floater on the other end, his 4th point of the second half, 13th of the game, closing in on his 18-point average as Caravel is back to their 9-point lead, 43-32.
That's one of the signature moves of Okoye Parker, is running into the lane and putting up that little teardrop jump shot. He's very accurate with that.
And so an 11-point lead, I should say, the largest of the game for Caravel as Glasgow has it. They get it to McDowell on the foul line. A pump fake, drives in, puts it up with the left, tips it himself, tries to get it in, comes down with his own rebound.
Wow.
They're going to call a jump ball. Jeremy Jean is looking for the foul, not going to get it. Instead, they're going to call a jump ball.
I actually thought McDowell was fouled 2 or 3 times in that sequence. He got his own offensive rebound twice during that sequence, not able to convert, and they call a jump ball in the last block shot.
And they're going to lob it in from underneath their own basket as it's Glasgow's ball. Evans has it at the top of the key. He drives into the lane, tries to dish it off. Sangbachan gets his hand on it, comes back out to Bradshaw, and it's going to be Evans who fires from 3 off the front left of the rim, and they're going to call a foul on Williams on the rebound.
Yeah, unfortunately, Williams just wrong place, wrong time there. 2 guys fighting for the rebound. DJ Earl had the better position, so he ends up getting the call.
Checking in for Glasgow is going to be Taylor. He's going to check in for McDowell. I think Jeremy Jean is glad that he got through that sequence without picking up a 4th foul.
And I'm guessing if it gets any worse, if you get into the 15, 16-point range, we may see McDowell come back in.
Right now, Caravel has the 43-32 lead with 3:44 to play in the third quarter, moving left to right in front of us. Alderman has it at the between the circles, gets it over to Montgomery. Montgomery being guarded there by Nichols. He hands it off to Earl. Earl trying to take Evans one-on-one. Evans has nothing to it, and he grabs the ball away, drives the other way, scoops it up, no good, but he's fouled and is going to head to the line.
Glasgow playing really tough defense, man-to-man down here on Caravel. And that time Evans was able to pick the pocket of the Caravel ball carrier. I believe it was DJ Earl at that point. But they've got to start converting some of these layups. They're only a 62% free throw shooting team, so this is another area they've got to start knocking this down if they have a chance.
Foul trouble all of a sudden for Caravel. DJ Evans picks up his third as DJ Earl picks up his third as Jamai Evans misses the first of 2 free throws. So DJ Earl with some foul trouble. He comes in as the second leading scorer on this team, being held so far. He had the 5 points, or the first 5 points of the second half, has 7 on the night. Second foul shot is up and good for Evans. So it's a 10-point game, 43-33. Caravel with a lead over Glasgow. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. 3:20 to play here in the third quarter. Earl has it, hands it off to Parker. Caravel probably not going to be in any rush to shoot, and as I say that, Parker puts up a near NBA 3, and coming down with a rebound is Bradshaw, and he's going the length of the floor and puts his own layup up and in.
Well, John, I agree with you. That's not what Coach Tobin wanted at all. Parker stopped it, picked up his dribble for some reason, and we couldn't find anybody to immediately pass to. He decided to throw up, as you said, an NBA range three-pointer, and Coach Tobin going to call a timeout and try to settle things down here a bit.
He's going to call his first 30-second timeout. He's not happy with what he just saw. We're going to keep it right here. 2:56 to play in the third quarter. Caravel with a 43-35 lead after falling behind 6-0 early in the game. And then they had a 31-29 lead at the half and have now extended that to 8 points. Incognito Production is the premier sports filming company in Delaware, shooting, editing, and creating sports films for teams and individuals. Incognito has you covered with recruitment and game films, plus team documentary style highlights, films, and posters. See for yourself the top quality of Incognito Productions by heading to nknfilms.com today. 43-35, Caravel with the ball and the lead. 2:56 to play here in the third quarter. Parker is going to inbounds at half court straight across from us as Caravel moves left to right. Earl has the ball and he gets it over to Sengbachan. Sengbachan gets it back to Alderman. Alderman over to Earl. Earl tries to whip it underneath this cutting Sengbachan, and instead they're going to call a foul on Glasgow. It looked like Earl might have gotten knocked in the head accidentally by Jamai Evans. That's going to be his second foul, the team's fourth.
That's a tough break for Jamai Evans. He played great defense there, knocked down the pass from DJ Earl, but when he tried to recover it, hit Earl in the head, as you said.
Earl inbounds it to Okoye Parker. Parker is at the NBA range 3 right now, trying to penetrate. He does. He spins inside the lane, turns around, puts up a jump shot, and it falls.
He does that better than just about anybody in the state. If he's able to get in the lane and do that little spin move, look out, because it's usually trouble.
15 points for Parker as Caravel extends its lead back to 15, and the ball gets tipped around inside. Glasgow turns it over. Parker has it, and he throws it the length of the floor to Alderman. Puts it up. No good, but he is fouled, so Alderman is going to go and shoot 2, and that foul is going to be on Mark Bradshaw. That will be his his second. Although they're saying now that was it against number 1 or number 2? I thought it was against Bradshaw, but instead it's going to be, for now, it's going to be against Jamai Evans, which is his third and the team's 5th, and either way, Trayon Alderman is going to go to the foul line looking for his first point of the second half, and he gets it to extend Caravel's lead to 46-35, which ties their number for the most in this game. McDowell checks in, and he's going to check in for Nichols with 2:20 to play here in the third quarter.
You know, we talked about team chemistry for Glasgow possibly being an issue as Alderman missed his second shot. We've seen some miscommunications on offense in this third quarter.
Taylor gets it on the wing, had a wide-open 3, decides instead to kick it back out to Evans, and I think that's where this Glasgow team is different from the previous regime, and that they give up shots and just chuck it up.
I agree,
and instead
100%.
they work it around, and it pays off as Bradshaw lays it in with his left hand.
There's a much more patient approach to the offense. You nailed it, than Glasgow teams we've seen in the past where there was much more individuality in the play.
46-37, Caravel with the lead in the ball. Parker looks underneath, and he has Williams. Williams puts it up, and McDowell comes down with it. Tabanya quickly on the other side. He hands it off to Williams. Williams kicks it back out. A three-pointer by Taylor. No good. It gets rattled around, and a nice save there by Williams, and he works it ahead to Alderman, who scoops it in and good.
that body control by Alderman and the Caravel guards is fantastic as he goes up there, allows the defender to slide right by, goes up and lays it off the glass for two.
Bradshaw has it at the top of the key. He gives it to Evans on the left. The shot is short. Sengbachan comes down with it. He gets it ahead to Huakoye Parker, who tries to go up for the dunk, comes up a little bit short, ended up having to try to lay it in, and Evans comes away with it for Glasgow, and a little hop, skip, and a jump in the lane. It's good.
I thought he got away with a few steps in there, but none the worse for wear, and that's a big basket for Glasgow. It allows them to remain within 9. McDowell still in the game, so doing a nice job. And they're going to call a travel on Jeb Williams.
Travel on Williams. Keister is going to check in. Caravel's got a 48-39 lead. Keister checks in for Parker. Also checking in is going to be Tabanya for Caravel. For Glasgow, Nichols quickly checks in, and he's going to come in for Taylor. So a lot of late substitutions here with just under a minute to play. Williams has a seat for Caravel. Mark Tobin has a couple words for him and then a pat on the back. 48-39, Caravel with a 9-point lead over Glasgow. Glasgow with the ball. Evans has it, drives into the lane, hands it off to McDowell. He goes up for the layup, and Sengbachan goes up with him, and they're going to call Sengbachan with a foul.
Yeah, Sengbachan was arguing that. I'm not sure why. His body was all over Devin McDowell as McDowell went up for the shot. I do believe Sengbachan got all ball with his hand, but way too much body on Devin McDowell there, and Sengbachan picks up his third.
And so that's going to send McDowell to the foul line for Glasgow to shoot 2. He's got 8 on the night, just added his 9th to pull Caravel within 8 points, 48-40. Checking in is Jordan Nasuti for Caravel. Sengbachan's going to have a seat. He just picked up his 3rd foul. And also checking in for Glasgow, or having a seat, I should say, is Tyon Taylor. And I believe it was Bradshaw who checked back in for him. Second foul shot by McDowell is up and good. So with 47 seconds left to play, it's 48-41. Caravel over Glasgow here at Caravel Academy on the Bear campus. They get it to the foul line, and that's Tabanya who's got it, and he turns it over, and it's Taylor sprinting the other way, decides to pull it back out, leaves it for Williams. The three-pointer is in and out, no good, and they're going to call a foul underneath, and I think McDowell is going to go to the foul line and shoot a one-on-one.
That's a really nice job by McDowell, continuing to fight in there. He's playing a lot more loose in this 3rd quarter than he was early on in the 2nd quarter with those 3 fouls. So nice job by him to stay aggressive.
And it's not the one-on-one. That was my mistake. It's only the 4th foul, I should say, against Caravel. And so Glasgow will inbound underneath with the ball, and 16 seconds left to play. Caravel with a 48-41 lead. McDowell is trying to set a pick on Keister, who's drawn the assignment to cover Bradshaw. Bradshaw gets it around to the left side, and it's a three-pointer from the corner by Williams. Is no good, and they had it, but it tips back around and is going to end up, that's going to be the end of the quarter. Nobody seemed to want to hang on to the ball there, and so as the 3rd quarter comes to the end, Caravel Academy has a 48-41 lead over Glasgow. This is the high school game of the week on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
You can trust. Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Caravel Academy with the ball and a 48-41 lead over Glasgow. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan as we get underway here in the 4th quarter at Caravel Academy. Sengbachan has it. He hands it off to Parker, and Parker steps out of bounds.
Parker complaining that he was bodied there. by the Glasgow defender Zaire Williams, but Zaire Williams has done a really good job all night long on Okoye Parker, been cutting him off. He got a little lax in the third quarter, allowing Parker to go off a little bit.
Taylor gets it underneath to McDowell, a low block. He can't get the layup to go, and coming down with it is Montgomery for Caravel. So Mandela Montgomery with a nice rebound there, hands it off to DJ Earl. And I'm sure one of the things Mark Tobin stressed during that in-between quarter time in the huddle was how Caravel does not need to take bad shots.
No, they need to be a little bit more patient, run their offensive sets.
And just as we say that, Alderman forces a turnover, and going the other way is Bradshaw, and it gets stripped from behind. But it's going to be out of bounds. Nice hustle there by Sangbachan, but it's going to be Glasgow ball.
Yeah, look, there, Mark Tobin again, frustrating. I'm not sure why Alderman. There was no pressure on him to drive. They were able to move the ball around. They're just not doing it, rushing far too many shots.
Glasgow inbounds it. Evans has it at the top of the key. He gets it over to Bradshaw, who nails a three right in front of Montgomery.
Boy, Bradshaw, when he gets an open look with that left hand tonight, he's been deadly. That time Montgomery didn't even bother to get a hand up in his face, and they paid for it.
I'm sure Coach Jean talked about the JV game when they had an 18-3 run in the second half to come up and win that. And just as I say that, Earl drives in, misses a shot. McDowell comes down with a rebound, and Glasgow trails by just 4 with 6:43 to play here in the fourth quarter. And they're going to decide to slow it down a little bit. Evans, the Chester High graduate, has it. He's being guarded by Montgomery. Looks like they're trying to set a play up here and get things moving. Jeremy John says move the ball. And he's guarded by Montgomery. He gets it over to Williams in the right corner. And Williams throws it away. Almost a backcourt violation. Great hustle, but coming away with it is Caravel. And going up strong is Alderman looking for a foul. Instead, Glasgow comes away with it. Bradshaw drives down the lane, puts it up with the left hand. No good. Evans gets the rebound, puts it up, and the ball gets stuck. So it's going to be a jump ball.
You know, for Mark Tobin, again, I understand that Caravel had some numbers, but again, there's no need for them to drive in so quickly with Glasgow playing some nice defense, even in one-on-one situations. So Caravel's really got to regain their composure, slow down a bit, be a little bit more patient.
It's going to be Glasgow's ball and the jump ball. The ball got stuck between the rim and the backboard, which, of course, is a jump ball. Inbounding it is going to be Williams. He gets it to the corner to Evans. Evans kicks it back out. They work it around, and Williams ends up right back with it. Looked like he traveled. No call there. McDowell has it in the left elbow. Williams back again in the corner, goes between the leg by 3 defenders, dishes it off to McDowell, who lays it into the left.
That was a great job by Williams to penetrate and dish it off at the last second to a wide-open McDowell, who went up with the left hand.
And so for the first time in a while, Glasgow has pulled to within 2. And Okoye Parker is trying to extend Caravel's lead. A little turnaround jumper inside, and he's going to get fouled on the jumper and will go and shoot 2. And that foul is going to be on Zaire Williams. That's his 3rd foul. So he has 3. Jomai Evans has 3, and Devin McDowell had 3, all for Glasgow. On the Caravel side, DJ Earl has 3, and Brendan Sangbachan has 3.
You almost have to treat Parker like a post player. You can't let him inside the lane because, again, if he gets a chance to do that little turnaround, very dangerous, very tough to defend as he knocks down the first free throw.
That is his 16th point of the night, extends the lead to just 3 now, 49-46.
Parker just 2 under his season average of 18 now.
He gets set to take his 2nd shot. He's one of the smoothest free throw shooters in the state, at least from what we've seen so far, and we know from last year. Of course, as I say that, 2nd shot clanged off the back of the rim, but a nice job of Sangbachan to run it down, and he hands it off underneath to Alderman, who misses the layup under pressure.
Every now and then, Alderman it looks like he makes the layups a little more difficult than they have to be. Rather than trying to draw the contact, he tries to do the little dipsy-do move, and it hurts him.
And Evans drives along the baseline and runs into Earl, and I don't think they called a foul. Could have been a charge, could have been a block. I don't think they called anything.
They didn't call anything. No, they just called
out of bounds.
Possession change, yeah.
So out of bounds on Caravel, or off of Glasgow. Caravel ball, 5:15 to play. Caravel with a 3-point lead. Earl has it at the half-court line, and he's being guarded by Evans. They get it over to Parker in the right corner. He's drawn the assignment by Williams, and Parker charges along the baseline, and they used his left arm to knock down Williams. It is a good call.
Yeah, you and I have seen that. Seems to be more of a point of emphasis in Delaware. We saw that a few times last week. Parker clearly threw out that left hand to gain ground, and when you get a full extension, it's almost like in football with the pass interference call. If you get full extension, you're going to get called for that every time.
And Mark Tobin's going to take a full timeout. He's not happy with the call, but I think he was also a little bit concerned that Parker was going to pick up his second technical foul. If you're just tuning in, Parker picked up a taunting technical foul early in the game. In fact, I think it was on his first, I know it was, after his first three-pointer. So he picked up that technical, and he was clearly upset with this offensive foul. And, here at the high school level, sometimes, even if you don't say anything directly to a referee, they'll give you a technical based on your actions. And he was getting real close to that point.
The body language. And if you watch him on tape, if you watch Coy Parker, he's a very emotional player. He plays with his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't usually get himself into these situations, but it's a combination with that emotion, and you get the right refereeing crew that's just not going to take anything from anybody. Right. You've got to be very careful. So I agree. That was a good timeout, get everything settled down.
It's going to be Caravel still has 3 timeouts left, as does Glasgow High here. We're at the 5:03 mark. Caravel Academy with a 49-46 lead. They've led by as many as 11 here in the second half. Glasgow had a nice run late in the third quarter to pull within 7 and then scored the first 3 points of the fourth quarter to get to where they are, 49-46. Glasgow trails by just 3. Bradshaw has it at the top of the key. He works it over to Evans, and they get it over to Taylor on the right wing. They're trying to penetrate a little bit. Nice defense there by Caravel, and Bradshaw drives the lane, and he loses control and is going to be charged with the charge. A nice job defensively there by DJ Earl.
DJ Earl, that's so tough sometimes to hold your ground when you know you're going to get absolutely run over. He did. He held his ground. Nice charge pickup there for DJ Earl.
Foul was on Bradshaw, his second, and that puts Caravel Academy in the 1-on-1 for the rest of the game. Caravel still has just the 5 fouls, so they've got 1 to give. And launching from 3 in the right corner, that's DJ Earl. And sometimes your good defense turns into good offense as he nails the 3.
Yeah, and DJ Earl, that's multiple three-pointers for him in the second half now. He's really come alive offensively, picked up the slack a little bit.
52-46, Caravel leads, 4:15 to play, almost halfway through this fourth and final quarter. Evans with the ball, trying to work his way around Montgomery. Montgomery, a defensive back on the football team. He knows how to move
yes, he
laterally.
Does.
Taylor has it. They get it into Bradshaw. He kicks it back out to Williams. Williams drives, and that's going to be a charge. That's the second charge in as many possessions. That time it was Mandela Montgomery taking the charge.
And that time it was a take your pick with Bradshaw. Zaire Williams. He was either going to call for the walk or the offensive foul as he just barreled over the defender. So a really nice job again of Caravel, the defense holding their ground there, not giving any way and picking up the charge.
Williams would have rather had the walk because that is his fourth foul, and Mandela Montgomery hits Sengbachan, slice into the lane, and he scores.
A Sengbachan, we've seen him do that a number of times, going up very strong for the 2.
His 4th point of the night, and on the other end, it looks like Jeremy Jean is going to take a timeout. That will be his 3rd timeout. It's going to be a full timeout. Don't forget, coming after the game, it's the American Spirit Federal Credit Union post-game show with locations in Newark, Middletown, and Dover. Visit AmericanSpirit.org. And Marty, I would imagine one of the things Mark Tobin is talking about with his team up 54-46 with 3:36 to play, and his team in the 1-on-1 situation, is the importance of not forcing shots and putting the ball back in a Caravel or in a Glasgow offense that has proven it can score not only in transition but can also shoot 3.
I agree. We've seen far too many instances of Caravel tonight just taking out-of-control shots or taking uncontested three-point shots that rim in and out. At this point in the game, you want to work the ball around. You want to take shots in as closely as you can get them. They don't have a big lineup in the game, so they're probably not going to do very strongly on the offensive board. So I agree. Patience, they say patience is a virtue. It certainly is here for Caravel. If they work it around, maintain this lead, it's going to be interesting to see how Glasgow approaches this. They're going to need to get, ratchet the pace up a little bit here in the last 3:30.
McDowell is in the game. He'll be in for the rest of the game, I'm sure. He's done a very nice job not picking up that fourth foul. And he is joined on the floor by Taylor, and he gets it up to the top of the key, and that is Evans driving in and almost picked up another offensive foul. Said it's a turnover. Alderman on the other end puts up what I consider a bad shot.
I don't get that shot
given
at
the
all.
game situation, and now McDowell is heading the other way, and he's trying to take things into his own hands, and he's going to get called for traveling on the spin move.
Yeah, when you're a 6'5" guy and you're trying to spin at full speed in the lane, you're probably not going to be able to get rid of the ball. I'm at a loss for why Alderman would take that shot, try to take up the layup. It was a 1-on-2 situation. He had no chance to get in close to the rim. So a lucky break there for Caravel, the turnover by McDowell.
Alderman is in with Montgomery and Earl, who has it on the left side. Okoye Parker at the top of the key. Sangbachan is in. Okoye Parker going one-on-one. He drives down the middle, puts it up and in.
Okoye Parker that time, Coach Tobin called for the call-out. He wanted the middle of the floor empty just for that reason.
There's 18 points. He's reached his season average and extended the Caravel lead to 10 as an air ball by Williams from the foul line. He's going to give Caravel back the ball.
You wonder if there's a little gun-shy there from Williams, who's picked up a couple offensive fouls and run into some Caravel defenders. That time he slammed on the brakes, not wanting to get called and pulled up a little short on his jumper.
Nichols checks back in for McDowell. McDowell still has just those 3 fouls, so not sure about that strategy, but I'm sure Jeremy Jean has a reason for it, taking the big man off on defense and then putting him back on offense, obviously, so you have a low-post player. 10-point lead for Caravel, 2:25 to play. They're moving left to right. Okoye Parker has it, guarded by Williams. A nice spin move, but he loses control of the ball. Still manages to put up a little jumper, comes off the front of the back of the rim, I should say, and it's Montgomery who pulls it down. And Mark Tobin does not like what he's seen, and he's taking a full timeout to let his guys know it.
When Okoye Parker drove into the lane, Mark Tobin lowered his head and just started shaking his head back and forth. I think he's in the same boat we are as far as how many times he's told these kids, it appears, to just be patient and work the ball around. They're actually allowing Glasgow to stay in this game. Devin McDowell's out of the game. Of course, without a shot clock, Caravel can hold this thing till the cows come home. So it's a mystery to me as to why they're pushing the pace.
And also, Glasgow had committed 8 fouls, so if they would have to foul Caravel, and Caravel would go to the line, and they're not a bad free throw shooting team. So that would be the ideal situation for Mark Tobin, and I'm sure he is certainly talking about that, even though he has been here for 4 years. He's coached for 23 years, so he's been through this a few times, especially at Padua Academy, coaching girls. They take great pride, those girls teams, those Catholic girls teams especially, of being able to control the ball late in the game, getting to the foul line, and making the free 15-footers. And so we'll see how they react here. It's going to be Caravel ball, 2:15 to play. Caravel's got a 10-point lead, trying to stretch their season record to 7-3 and win their 5th straight. Glasgow came into this game 9-2, also the winners of 4 straight. And mounting right in front of us is Alderman, and Glasgow doing a nice job on defense, and Alderman steps on the line, and so it's going to be a turnover to Glasgow. So not what you were looking for if you're Mark Tobin, as McDowell checks back in that offensive-defensive shuttle. Nichols will have the seat, but you can see Jeremy Jean, if you're watching on the live stream, had him sit right next to the coach, ready to pop back in.
And Tobin kind of gave the swirl sign, telling his team move while they're trying to inbound it.
Three-pointer from NBA range, top of the key, is off the back of the rim by Bradshaw, and coming down with it is Alderman. 2 minutes to play, a 10-point lead for the home team, the Caravel Buccaneers, over the Glasgow Dragons. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Caravel moving left to right, and a slicing Montgomery gets hit with a perfect pass from Sangbachan.
And that is exactly what Coach Tobin called for. He wanted them to spread out, leave the middle of the lane open for the cutter. Sangbachan with a great job finding the open man for the easy layup.
The Glasgow guards were out playing helter-skelter defense, and that opened up the middle. A three-pointer is launched by Evans, and it is long and comes down into the hands of Bradshaw for Glasgow, so they're getting another shot here. 1:28 to play. They get it over to Evans. Evans kicks it back out to Bradshaw, the lefty. He's trying to find some open space there, and a nice job by Alderman on defense. Instead, it's going to be Evans from 3 off the front of the rim, and Alderman comes down with it as we approach the 1-minute mark. A 12-point lead for Caravel Academy, their largest lead of the game. And driving down, and the ball rolls around the rim, what looked like 3 times and in, is Alderman for the score, and that might do it as Glasgow has taken a timeout, now trailing 60-46.
You know, it's interesting. Coach Tobin, in probably the last 2 minutes of the game, called for an offensive set where they sort of got into the old North Carolina 4 corners position, which opened up the middle of the lane. It forced the Glasgow guards to come out and play. Caravel was able to send cutters down the lane, and with the ability of these Caravel kids to pass the ball under Tobin's tutelage, they've done a great job of finding the open man for the easy layups.
And remember that offensive-defensive shuttle Jeremy Jean has employed. McDowell, whenever possible, is not on the defensive end.
Right.
So you've removed the biggest guy on the floor for Glasgow and put him on the bench for strategic reasons, obviously, because then you get a quicker guard out on the floor hoping to steal the ball. So I like the move by Jeremy Jean. I like the move even better, the counter move, I should say, by Caravel Academy, making the key passes. Sengbachan hit a slicing Montgomery, and there it was Trayon Alderman who took advantage of the open space. And the biggest thing is they scored when they got those layups. A lot of times you see teams get those layups in these situations, and they aren't able to put it home.
Coach, you're right. When they get those wide open shots and they can't put it home, that make a coach pull his hair out, though. Coach Tobin doesn't look like this haircut. He has much hair to pull it out, so at least that's good.
Glasgow's going to inbound, moving right to left, and as soon as they pick the ball up, which they do, it'll tick to 1 minute left to play. 60-46, Caravel with its largest lead of the game, 14. They trailed by 6-0 early on. Driving in and making the left-handed layup is Jemiah Evans, and that will be his 13th point of the game. 60-48, 44 seconds left to play, and bringing it up is Alderman. He gets by the pressure of Taylor, and he's looking to hand it off to Parker. Instead, he waves Parker by and is going to hand it off to DJ Earl. DJ Earl is looking to drive into the lane, puts it up with the left hand, and it's good. This is over.
That's great. Yeah, again, the off-the-ball movement by Caravel was just off the charts good on that possession.
Glasgow quickly to the other end, now trailing 62-48. Evans has it going between his legs one too many times, hands it right to Alderman, who goes the length of the floor, and he's fouled on the hip there by Tyron Taylor. It's going to be his second, and Alderman will head to the line to shoot 2. I think if he had to do it all over again, or I should say if Mark Tobin had to do it all over again, he would have brought it back out.
That's where you dribble under the basket, come out the other side, and just try to set up the offense again. I agree with you 100%. It looked like Mark Tobin expected that would happen. Instead, Alderman goes up for the shot, gets the foul, but as you said, it's really academic at this point with only 13 seconds remaining.
Alderman has 13 points. That's his 14th that he just made, so it's 1 over his season average. Clarence Johnson is going to check in for Glasgow. Tyon Taylor will have a seat. He'll finish with 4 points on the night. And the second shot by Alderman is up and good. Gives him 14.
And I'm sure Coach Jean is tired of the losing learning experience, but there's a lot of good to be taken out of this game if you're Glasgow.
And Glasgow, with 4 seconds left, fires one more 3 that falls out and falls into the hands of Dave Nichols, and he puts it back up, and it doesn't go in. You can hear the buzzer sound. So the clock is at 0. Caravel Academy is going to come away with a 64-50 win over the Glasgow Dragons. When we come back, it's the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show. We'll try to talk with Mark Tobin. We'll go over the stats, and then we'll talk about our next game here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. Once again, your final score, Caravel Academy 64, Glasgow 50.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space.
It's a good win for you guys right here.
It's a good season win.
Yes, yes.
Points and everything else. They're going to.
Ferris Home Improvement's pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens and bathrooms. Want a professional no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust. Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home.
Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finance.
And the Buccaneers came from being down 6-0 early on to come away with a 64-50 win over. It's not necessarily a crosstown rival, Coach Tobin, but it's about as close as you can get, just 5 miles away, the Glasgow Dragons. And we are joined by head coach Mark Tobin, who saw his Caravel Academy team jump its record to 7-3. They've won their 5th straight. And as you pointed out, this was a good quality win over a quality opponent, which will get you some points when it comes state tournament time because of the wins that they'll end up with. Your team fell behind early, 6-0. They looked like they were a little out of sync. They almost looked like the visiting team that was shocked by a home crowd that wasn't theirs. And here we are at Caravel. How did they recover from that?
Well, the good part was I went to the bench and I got a little bigger. And I think when we did that, they came in and they played really well, which basically helped the rebounding because that's what we're lacking, helped the rest of the guys get in the game in the flow. And I think the bench really helped me in the first half. And I think that helped us build back into the game and kind of, get close to going into halftime.
Last year, you entered the tournament as the 19th seed. You kind of snuck up on a ton of people, and you go into the tournament, you go at Hodgson, you go at Sally's, even though you'd had a really good regular season.
Yeah.
This year, you're sort of more the hunted. You went toe-to-toe with Smyrna in the championship game for a long time against a far bigger, what looked like more talented lineup, though in the end it really didn't turn out that way, maybe, more or less. This year, you guys are more in that hunted category where every night you come out, everybody, you're going to get everybody's best.
Absolutely.
What's been the adjustment mentally for your team to deal with that?
Well, to be honest with you, we really did well in the underdog. We felt it.
Yes.
Every game we knew that we were just having fun and see what happens. And you're right. Our mindset's got to change. Now we are the hunted. Like Glasgow's a great team. They come in when everybody we're playing is being in their A game. And I think it's their mindset. Our players got to understand. Like you saw in the first set, we went out. We were kind of like uncertain. Thank God my bench came in and really provided great minutes in the first half. But then in the second half, you could tell my starting five got into the groove of the game. We changed some of the offense sets. They were overplaying the ball, so we started running some back screens, and it really helped us down the stretch.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin Keister came in and scored 7 points at a time when your other two leading scorers were struggling. DJ Earl only had 2 points in the first half, and Okoye Parker finished with 9, which is a good half for most players.
Absolutely.
But Okoye Parker usually scores more than that for you, and so Keister did a nice job. You could tell your frustration in the second half when there were some shots taken with a 10-point lead.
I agree.
That, just like you just rolled your eyes here on the air, you held your thing. How do you use this game as a learning experience to keep that from happening down the road?
Well, I mean, it's such a valuable point. When we were playing Smyrna, we were up by 8, and then we went 6 straight open possessions. Kate, we're up most of the game, and then we go down. I think the boys got to, this year, learn how to close games.
Right.
Because we were mostly behind most of those games, and we would kind of roar up, get on the flow. And now teams are, they know our players a lot better.
Right.
And we've got to be a little more mature, and we've got to run sets, and we got to relax. this is the second game in a row that we've been up, and then they come back, and I'm hoping as we go forward they can learn from their mistakes and say, let's cherish the ball.
Right.
Every possession. That's really what it boils down to in basketball.
Right, yep.
Now, you've got a really deep bench, and we saw it in play a little bit last year. We're seeing it even more this year. Do you kind of use that? I'm sure your practices are tough because you've got your top 5 going against your next 5, and there's not a lot of difference in some of those positions.
Very true.
So is there a fight every day in practice, these guys, they kind of keep each other up, working to make each other better?
Absolutely, because the funny part is my bench has length, and my starting 5 doesn't, so it is unique because they're battling, and I think it does help my starting group going to the rim because every day in practice they're going against a 6'8" and a 6'5", and it's very unique because I didn't have it last year. They were freshmen.
Yeah.
So, we have 5 sophomores that are getting minutes, and it's productive. I mean, it's really helping us to sustain what we're doing.
And hopefully it'll pay off down the road as you head into state
tournament. We're all
tournament
playing for the big dance.
Big game.
We're trying
to
get ready for the
trying to
dance.
get there. That's right. All right, head coach Mark Tobin will let you go get with your team. We appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for all your help leading up to the game.
Thank
it
you
makes
so
a
much.
world of
Thanks,
difference
Coach.
for us to have all that information.
All right,
so,
I appreciate
all right, Coach, hope to see you down the road.
Yes,
appreciate the time. Thank you, Coach.
Coach Mark Tobin, as he just watched and coached his team to its 7th win of the season, their 5th straight with a 64-50 win over Glasgow High School. When we come back, we'll announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game and talk about our game next week. You're listening to the High School Basketball Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Dragons. It wasn't an easy win for Caravel. They trailed early 6-0. They led after the first quarter 14-10, but Caravel fought back and took a 31-29 lead into the locker room and then quickly jumped out to a 10-point lead early in the third quarter, led by as many as 11 before closing out the third 48-41. And then basically Glasgow fought back a little bit, got to within 2 points early in the fourth quarter, but then it was all Caravel after that. They extended their lead to as many as 14 and then held on for a 14-point win, 64-50. Let's review the scoring. First for the Caravel Buccaneers, Okoye Parker got his season average almost exactly, came in averaging 18.2. He scored 18 points. Trey Alderman with 15. DJ Earl finished with 12, had a great second half after only scoring 2 points in the first half. Kevin Keister, 7 points, all in the first half, and he was part of the reason they were able to come back after falling down so early. 4 points for Brendan Sangbachan and Mandela Montgomery, 2 for Jordan Nasuti off the bench, and Jeb Williams was 1 of 2 from the free throw line for his 1 point. For Glasgow, leading scorer on the season, Mark Bradshaw led all scorers for the Dragons with 16 points, 12 points for center Devin McDowell, who played most of the game in foul trouble. He picked up 3 fouls. If it wasn't in the second quarter, it was darn close to early. It was either late in the first quarter or early in the second quarter. I can't remember exactly when that happened. 13 points for Jemai Evans, 4 for Tyon Taylor, and 3 for Zaire Williams. So that is your scoring recap after the 64-50 victory by Caravel Academy. It's now time to announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game. Crown Trophy in Glasgow and Wilmington have always been proud supporters of Fox Sports 1290 and the student athletes in the state of Delaware. Visit Crown Trophy for all the best in trophies, and make sure to check out their varsity letter sports balls. Continuing with the Crown Trophy tradition, each player of the game this season will win a customized Crown Trophy award plaque, and the school will receive one as well for its trophy case. Visit crowntrophy.com. Marty, the floor is yours.
Some great individual efforts from Glasgow tonight. As you said, Evans did a really nice job. Mark Bradshaw led the team with 16 points. Devin McDowell, if he doesn't get in foul trouble, who knows, maybe this is a different game, but that's the way the game goes. McDowell got in the early foul trouble, ended up with only 12 points. It definitely affected him defensively. Zaire Williams, for the most part, did a fantastic job on Okoye Parker for most of the night. Held Parker to just his average of 18 points. Caravel has 3 guys that average more than 12 points a game, and they all got there tonight. DJ Earl with 12, the Alderman with 15, as you said. But Okoye Parker, to me, the guy, when they needed someone to settle them down, they needed someone to kind of take the reins and take charge out there. Okoye Parker, the senior, is the emotional leader of this team. He's the one who got them back into the game when they fell a little bit short in the intensity department early on in the first quarter, got them settled in, back into their regular offense. He ends up with his season average of 18 points, and for that reason, and for everything he does for his Caravel team and everything he did here tonight, Okoye Parker is our Crown Trophy player of the game.
Congratulations to Okoye. Crown Trophy will provide both him and the school with a plaque representing that award, and the All-State, first-team All-State selection from last year is our Crown Trophy player of the game. All right, both of these teams play again on Thursday. Glasgow plays its second of 4 straight away games when it heads to AI DuPont for a 6 p.m. tip. Caravel Academy will play its 5th straight home game on Thursday when the Bucks return here to host Tatnall at 7:15. Our next Fox Sports 1290 broadcast is a week from tonight when we head to St. George's Votech High School just over the canal from here to see the Hawks take on the Concord Raiders. The Hawks will try to rebound. They'll have a game before that, but if you just tuned in, they lost to Sanford 61-40. Their high-flying superstar, Bones Highland, held to just 13 points, which is a career night for a lot of guys.
Yes,
but for a guy who scored 111 points in the previous 2 games, you have to claim a certain victory for the Sanford defense on that one. Tip-off of that one is 6 p.m., and we'll be on the air at 5:45 with the Fox Sports 1290 pregame show. With that, that's going to wrap up the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show here at Caravel Academy. Thanks to our producer back in the studio, Ronnie Vickers, for keeping us up and running on the radio side, and to the crew of 302 Sports here on site producing the live stream. For Marty Sheehan, I'm John Busby. Once again, your final score, Caravel 64, Glasgow 50. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, good night from Caravel Academy.